once we have full awareness, right? Once they have full awareness of all the things that are happening, the most important thing and one of the hardest things is taking responsibility. To understand that no one and no situation can make you feel bad. You feel a way about something else by the way you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that and you take responsibility for it, you realize you don't have to feel stressed for very long. Right? If someone says the wrong thing, or project or launch failed, or something's made you sick or scared or angry, that's how you perceive it. And you have control over your character and your emotions.
Hey, welcome to Networking Star. My name is Jeffery Boyle, and here on this podcast, we interview some of the most innovative entrepreneurs, interesting people, and just thought leaders that help inspire you to help do, be, and have more in your life. Today, I have with me James Williams. James is very interesting in his approach because he helps you focus on you. And I was really interested as we started to go through his LinkedIn information and learn his approach. James, thanks for being with us.
I appreciate it, man. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to be on your incredible podcast.
So as I was going through some of your content, one of the things that you talked about is it's selfish to put other people before yourself. Explain a little bit about what it means to be centered on yourself.
Yeah. So as I call myself a recovering giver, and I carry this imaginary coin because putting myself first wasn't something that I was taught. For very good reasons, a lot of us are encouraged to do things for other people, which is wonderful. But what I found, especially as a coach, is that when people are putting other people before themselves, as a rule, they're never 100%. So as parents, as leaders, as people in the world that are going out there only thinking of others, they're coming into those situations of service very much depleted. And that's what I'm trying to encourage change in.
So I guess it's an overused metaphor, but as you were talking, what it made me think about is on the airplane, they talk about putting on your own oxygen mask before putting it on your child. You're no good to your child if you're knocked out. Mm-hmm. Essentially, what you're talking about is if you're depleted, how are you going to serve others?
Right, that's exactly right. And I think you'll find, especially as someone who coaches a lot of business owners and leaders, one of the primary challenges they say they have is they have no time. I don't have enough time to meditate, James. I don't have enough time to go to the gym. I don't have enough time to do my own thing for myself in the morning before I go to work. And so to reiterate that metaphor that has now become sort of numb and meaningless is to actually really start to have the conversation about, well, what would happen if you made the time to fuel yourself? Because chances are the way that turns into you performing at a higher level and making better decisions and being more efficient, you're going to create more time, right? Mm-hmm. And so you can make the time. You don't need to find it.
I was on the phone this morning with somebody that I've worked with for, 15 years now. And one of the things that he said that, and I guess I wasn't even aware of it, he said one of the things that he learned from me is no matter where we were in the world where we were doing business, I would always excuse myself and go to the gym every day for about an hour, even when I was on the road. And talk to me a little bit about that self-care, because I know that you work mostly with women and women business owners, and the importance of women taking that time away, because as mothers, as business owners, and just as people that are very busy, how do you talk to women about really taking the time for themselves that way?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, this is really driven by, I work with my wife, and I have done since 2015. And, our relationship and now our roles as parents are not what we grew up with, right? They're not the old 1950s style, mum stays at home with the kids and dad goes and works, right? Now we're both career people. And, yet we want to be present and amazing parents as well. And we've always thought, well, that's possible. It's not one or the other. And especially there seems to be a real rise in incredibly inspiring leadership amongst women right now. There's some amazing businesses, amazing service-based businesses, amazing women out there creating incredible things. Yet there's still this generational thing of guilt when it comes to putting themselves first, right? Especially if they're mothers or, naturally caring people. And so there's this internal battle. It's like, well, how can I go to that next level in my business? How can I do the next thing when I'm so stressed, I'm so worried and thinking about these other things? And so I think one of the most powerful things, especially to a mother, that I will say is, as I'll say to her, do you think that your children deserve the best mother that they can get? And of course they'll say, yes, they do deserve the best mother they can get. And I say, well, are you putting yourself first? I say, no, I've got to put them first. So, okay, so if you're not putting yourself first and you're not your best self, why aren't you giving your kids the best mum that you said that they need? And why you're allowing them to see an example of how to treat yourself, because that's what you're doing, right? As parents, we are teaching and role modeling how to treat ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we're self-sacrificing and making ourselves tired and sick and stressed and then getting resentful of other people, we're modeling that as parents, but we're also modeling it as leaders in the world as well. And so the great news is, if you start putting yourself first, and I'll say this to them, if you start putting yourself first, you can have real present time and enjoy your kids. You can create an amazing amount of time to delegate to your employees at your work and not micromanage them, and just trust them and relax and be creative and actually create more success than you ever thought was possible, because you're not coming at it from this depleted, stressed place of, resentment and assumption that you need to be stressed to be successful.
And you work primarily with women and women business owners, and that's a lot of what you focus on. How did you get to that point where you decided, this is the target market? And is that because you see that is one of the main things that women business owners and entrepreneurs and leaders do, is the neglecting of self?
Well, it happens to guys as well, right? It's across the board, but the way that it's kind of worked, I actually worked in television for 12 years, and I saw a lot of leadership, great leadership and poor leadership. And when I left and I worked with my wife in her business was focused primarily on women. And so as a coach, I started working with a lot of women, and I was working with guys as well. But it just was one of those things that for some reason, I was getting all these referrals to work with women. I guess I have a good relationship with women. I have a great relationship with my wife. And so I got to a point where, as you know, in the marketing world, you've got to focus. And I just really enjoy working with strong, powerful women who want to do something great. And I do work with guys. It's not like if a guy came to me, I would say no, but it tends to be the emotionally intelligent people and the people that can access their emotions and can have those deep conversations. They're the ones that I enjoy working with, because to be honest with you, that's what it takes. It takes a level of emotional intelligence to do this deep work. And I guess that there are more women like that than men maybe right now. I mean, it's certainly in my life, that's just been the experience.
I guess that's what I was going to ask you then, is that really what powers you? And have you learned a lot in this process from your clients, and especially since you're servicing that particular niche? What impact has it made on your life?
I mean, a huge impact. I mean, I'm inspired every day by my clients and my amazing wife, because, as someone who did self-sacrifice for many, many years, and I carry that coin because I feel like I could go back there at any time. Right. And so I remember I had a client once, she was a single mother, and she was in one of the programs that my wife and I were running. And I remember once she was telling us of one of her early sales calls, and she was on a sales call breastfeeding her baby. And that sales call resulted in a six-figure contract.
Nice.
And it was so inspiring to me, because I think, man, anytime I think that things have been difficult for me, and I think about what some of those amazing women that I've coached have done and not complained about, they've just got on with it. And it's amazing. And of course, now we have a young daughter, and I was there in the room when my wife gave birth. I have a huge amount of respect for women. And so they inspire me all the time, because with all of that and the drive and ambition to be hugely successful and have an impact, it's very inspiring to me. It's made a huge impact on me.
So when you have this growing list of clients that you work with, give me an example of a really balanced, self-caring client that you have. You don't need to do the name, but give me an example of how that person really operates throughout the day and perhaps a schedule that they follow.
Yeah. So that initially when I work with someone, I run them through this concept of the business of you, because a lot of the people I work with, they're business owners. So they understand the roles within a business and how to function there. Okay. So by breaking down those roles and making the roles within ourselves, that's the core concept that once they have that model, they continue with. And so, they come to me thinking what they need is, James, I need more energy and I need some stress management strategies. And it's bigger than that. And so it's how they treat themselves starts with them, right? Those roles, right? So they come in unconsciously competent and unconsciously incompetent. So they don't know what they don't know about themselves. And so then the way their day looks is full awareness. They're not aiming for a perfect life. They're aiming for an intentional life. So they wake up in the morning and the first thought is, okay, how am I feeling? What do I need right now? They don't jump on their phone and look at their email. They don't go straight to what someone else needs. What do I need? Did I sleep well? Am I thirsty? Do I need to stretch? Right? So it's what do I need? The next thing is being conscious about the food they eat, right? And so the whole morning is about priming for the day, priming the mind, priming the body, priming themselves very intentionally to execute the day, because every day is different. So what is required from us each day is different. And if we go into the day prepared and aware of what's required from us, then we're not going to have any nasty surprises. We're, as I say, prepared to be unprepared, right? And then the day goes in, and normally these business owners are very busy and surprises do happen. And so really very, very simple, but very effective conscious strategy is to recharge every hour. So a lot of people are sitting at desks, they're staring at screens, right? They're getting tired and they don't even know it. And you quite often get people that stare at a screen or they're sitting down for so long, they have no idea the fatigue that's hitting them. And then they get to 3-4 o'clock and they feel tired and they think they need a coffee, or they just think they're tired. So by hourly recharging, by saying, okay, every 50 minutes or so, I'm going to set an alarm on my phone. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to move. I'm going to do some breath work. I'm going to make sure I'm hydrated. I'm going to ask myself that question again. What do I need? How do I feel? That little intention just keeps us aware, consciously competent and consciously incompetent as we go through our days, right? Which that relates to tons of things like better decision making, because we're conscious and we're aware, to more responsive reactions to people and situations rather than fear and stressed reactions to things. More slow down, take a breath and make a decision. And then it's the permission they give themselves at the end of the day to say, okay, have I finished my work day? Great. Now it's personal time. Now it's time for me and my partner, or just me and my cat, whatever it may be. And now it's the time for the evening for me to get my mind and my body nicely wound down, so that when I sleep, which I'm big on sleep, right? Their relationship with sleep this is another business strategy, because I know that when I understand the importance of sleep, my ability to function and perform and crush it and make money or have great relationships the next day is 10x. So the evening is very much about, we can just quieten down. I have meditation strategies, all sorts of things, so that I can sleep really well. I mean, there are a ton of strategies in amongst that, but ultimately it's this awareness and check-in every day and understanding that you don't need more energy. You need to be more aware of the energy you already have and where you're directing it. Because most people, if they're running the business of them, have a ton of directed energy that's got no ROI. It might be thoughts. It might be people they've let into their lives, things they've eaten, but it's an unconscious bad business decisions in the business of them that is wasting energy.
Right.
And so once they realize, well, I actually never need more energy. I have all the energy I will ever need. when I focus on where
the competent use of that energy. So what are some of the things that happens to a person that makes that shift from basically floating through and being a victim of everything around them to consciously being aware of the energy and recharging themselves? What give me an example of something?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, once we have full awareness, right? Once they have full awareness of all the things that are happening, the most important thing and one of the hardest things is taking responsibility.
Okay.
To understand that no one and no situation can make you feel bad. You feel a way about something else by the way you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that and you take responsibility for it, you realize you don't have to feel stressed for very long. Right? If someone says the wrong thing, or a project or launch failed, or something's made you sick or scared or angry, that's how you perceive it. And you can actually, you have control over your character and your emotions. Once you understand and take responsibility, rather than waiting for the world to change for you to be happy, you realize very quickly you can change your state. And it takes time, right? It takes time. It's a habitual pattern that we've got to reprogram in. But taking responsibility and realizing that is the key. I call it your responsibility, right? Your ability to respond to the world around you. Once that happens, it's a game changer.
And I think that that's one of the things that so few people are able to do is to take responsibility for their life. I think all of us have worked with somebody and at times have been the victim, played the victim. And, it's somebody else's fault, or this happened because of somebody else. They take credit for the good things, but if there's something that's bad in life, it's somebody else's fault. How do you get a person to stop blaming somebody else and stop playing the victim of anything that goes wrong and take responsibility like you're talking about?
Well, I think the first thing to do is understand why we're doing it, right? It's the easiest thing in the world is to push the blame somewhere else. It's the easiest thing. It's just easy. So why would we want to take the easy route? Energy, right? If I am not looking after myself and I have very low energy, my natural response is the easiest route from A to B, right? It's like, this thing's happened. The smallest amount of output it's going to take for me is to go, it's their fault. It's not my problem. Their fault. You do it, right? But once they realize, that blaming others, but still feeling the pain of that result, whatever it is actually taking a lot of energy. The initial output seems like a small amount, but because now that seed of disappointment is still in there, digging away in this garden full of weeds, it's just going to keep eating away. Whereas taking responsibility like a good leader and saying, okay, let's do something really important now. Let's remove judgment from this situation and let's get curious instead. Let's ask a question. Why did it happen? And when we understand why it happened, what could we do next time to limit the chances of it happening again? You see, when we replace judgment with curiosity, we continue the conversation to a progressive point, right? To somewhere where we're going to find an answer that's going to feel good, right?
So you're not wasting time that is used over and over and over again, laying blame, and instead you're looking for a progressive solution and putting that energy towards growth.
It's an inefficient use of fuel.
Well, I think this is the type of topic that I'd love to explore more with you. Tell people where to find you, and you do a lot of lives, and you do a lot of different coaching and speaking. How do people find you to be able to learn more about this?
Well, I'm primarily on LinkedIn. You can find me at James R.S. Williams, or you can find me on my website, which is thegrowthedge.com.
Well, it's the kind of thing that I always love to give the guests the last word. Give people a really just strong ending on what they need to do to start this change of taking care of themselves to be able to achieve the results that they want.
I used to have this sticker above my computer screen that just said, stop, feel, need. And it was just a reminder for me to stop for a minute and just feel what I'm feeling in my body and in my mind, and what do I need to be able to function better? Is it that my mind's racing? Okay, well, what can I do to slow it down? Am I thirsty? Is my back hurting? So I think the step one is to build awareness. So just schedule, because if you don't schedule, it's not real. Schedule time in your calendar to just stop and check in with yourself, and you'll find that level of curiosity is going to lead you to answers that are going to really serve you.
And I've got one more question. You just came up I've been married for 25 years and I have 5 kids, and one of them is now an amazing 21-year-old daughter. What do you tell guys like me to be able to better serve and understand those needs of the women in our lives?
That's a great question. I think really to serve anyone in our life, understand that we are all role models, right? Everyone we come in contact with, we have a level of influence with. And if the intention is to raise the energy in any room or any relationship, to just take a breath and understand that you don't know going into a relationship, or, you meet your daughter at the end of the day, you don't know what day she's had. So don't assume. And to go into anything, understanding that, you to be a reflection of the person that you want to be, and the reflection that they want to see in you. And again, be curious and open and loving, and be a role model, and know that you don't have to fix anyone's problems. And that most people just want to know that they're noticed.
Yeah, it's good stuff. James, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for being a part of Networking Star. And I really hope you guys will check out some of his stuff that he has on LinkedIn, and attend some of his lives. This is the kind of stuff that so many times we used to neglect, but it is becoming very apparent. The most intuitive leaders are the ones that understand how to truly feel good about their day. So thanks for being a part of this of Networking Star, James.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it.